welcome to another video. Today is Tuesday and we're going to be talking about, talking about Isaiah 41:13. If you hear the noises outside, it's actually raining outside. I don't know if you can see there, and I have to go out right now. So anyways, let's talk about Isaiah 41:13. And it says, I, the Lord thy God, will hold thy right hand, saying unto thee, fear not. What jumps out at me, I really wanted to talk about the fear not, but honestly today what jumps out at me is saying unto thee, because this is a ongoing thing. It's not like, and I will say to thee, or as I have said. It says saying. It keeps on going, because had he said in this verse, I, thy Lord thy God, will hold thy right hand as I have said, it's like in the past. Remember what I've said. I've already told you this before. Or as I, while I say, or will I say, in the future, something that's coming. But when it's a saying unto thee, like he is, I imagine this like father, like a child. What comes to my mind is this. Go with me. I imagine a child that just got hurt, got their knees scraped, just fell down, and just got their knees scraped or something. And the father comes by, and as he's walking towards the child, he's already talking to the child, trying to see what happened, trying to calm down the child's nerves, trying to say, hey, honey, it'll be okay. I'm here with you. Oh, what happened? As he's approaching and kneels down with the child to look at the wounds and continues to try to calm the child down and try to kind of appease the situation. That's what comes to mind when I read this verse, and it says, saying unto thee, I, the Lord, thy God, will hold thy right hand, saying unto thee, fear not. While you're still in your pain, and I'm going to go with it. While you're still in your pain, I think that we expect maybe God to come and help us before we go through things. Sometimes I think as Christians, we preach way too much of we serve a loving Father, and so nothing bad is going to happen to you, right? We serve a loving Father, and so you have to believe that he's going to cure. You have to believe that he's going to save. You have to believe that he's going to show up. But God can do whatever he wants. And sometimes he shows up beforehand with warnings, with dreams, with just people coming and letting us know. Sometimes he doesn't show up at all until the situation is undergoing, and then he shows up. And sometimes, like right at the end, he comes to, help you with the pieces. Sometimes, though, he shows up while you're going through the situation. Usually when the situation is quite dire or is prolonged is, I think, when he shows up in the middle of it. God is always there, mind you. God is always, always there. Let me tell you, when my kids are in the park, and maybe you're going to think I'm a horrible mother for doing this, but I am an advocate of letting them fall and letting them hurt themselves. Because unless they do that, they're not going to learn. I'm not the type of mother. I've seen other parents in the playground where even when the kids were smaller, they don't let the kids, go on the swings or climb certain things or do certain things in the playground because they're going to fall. And they're like, no, honey, this is too much for you. No, honey. And they're always hovering. I'm not that type of mother. I'm always watching them and I'm always walking around at a little bit of a distance I keep from myself to them, and I'm always watching them. But I tell them, like, go for it, try it. If you need any help, you let me know. And when they start hesitating and they start shaking in fear, that's when I step in. When I feel like they're gonna fall, that's when I step in. But I let them. And sometimes in my heart, as a mother, I'm like, I really want to go and I want to carry them the whole way. But I let them go, because when I let them do things like that, even though they're frightened, they not only overcome their fears, but it kind of assures them inside of them that they can now do this without any help. And it makes them more courageous to try other things in the playground, and to keep on trying things. And sometimes they cry and sometimes they fall, and that's okay. But I always tell them, when things do happen with them, I go and I hug them and I give them the nurturing, and then I say, try it again. Because I don't want that failure, if you will, that thing that happened to them to deter them from trying again and not getting the full experience of the playground, if you will. Does that make sense? And I feel like God sometimes he intervenes beforehand, and sometimes he comes right after to pick up the pieces. He kind of lets us fall and lets us fail and lets us hurt. But sometimes he comes during it. But it doesn't mean that God isn't standing around and watching us. It doesn't mean that he's not ready to jump in. It just means that he's allowing us to go and break our heads, to go and try our things and overcome our fears, if that makes any sense. And so when I read this verse, I, the Lord thy God, will hold thy right hand, saying unto thee, fear not. I know of many times my kids are like, I want to try it, but they want me to do it for them. And I take their hand, I hold their hand, and I walk with them to whatever they want to try. And I say, mommy's going to be right here. If you need anything, mommy's right here. And I show them that I'm ready to rescue them. But I kind of encourage them throughout the time, as they're going up, to try things on their own. And I get that same picture from this verse, God saying, I, the Lord thy God, I'm going to hold your hand and I'm going to walk with you. And while telling you, like, don't worry about it, I'm going to walk you through that fear. I'm going to walk you through that valley. I'm going to walk you through that mountain. I'm going to walk you to the edge of the mountain and tell you to climb it. But while I'm walking, I'm going to tell you, don't worry about it. Fear not, while I think that we think sometimes as Christians, that because we are Christians and because we serve God and Almighty God, that he's going to save us from anything bad. And we automatically, I've seen churches teach that, kind of like automatically, that anything that is bad doesn't come from God. Or if you're sad, it doesn't, it's not coming from God. If you're confused, if you're whatever. But I don't agree with that. Or else he wouldn't have so many teachings for it. He wouldn't be saying this in the Bible to begin with. He knows that we're going to be afraid. He knows that we're going to question. He knows that we're going to doubt. He knows all of that. That's normal. Quite frankly, I'd be worried if we didn't. And we have created this community of Christians, I think, that was like, I'm going to stand in the name of God. I'm not going to fear anything. But fear allows us to take a step back and really think about what we're doing. What we can't allow is for that fear to stop us. And God is saying, like he knew that the people of Israel were afraid, it seems like, in this verse. Now, I don't know the context. I haven't read the context of this verse. I just grabbed the verse. But it seems like he knew that the people of God or the people of Israel were afraid. And so that's why they were doing the things that they were doing. And he was assuring them as he grabbed their hand and saying, you know, don't fear. Don't be scared. I'm here with you. And that's what I picture. And that's what I feel like God is telling myself and wanting me to share with you today is, you know, sometimes he shows up in the beginning, in the middle, at the end. But he wants to hold your right hand right now. As he's holding your hand, saying, fear not. He may be the one walking with you to that mountain. He may be walking you towards that you know, horrible thing that you think, because we don't understand what we're going to go through and we are scared, but he's with us. He's holding our right hand and he's going to see us through. He's going to walk with us. He's going to give us the advice that we need. He's going to give us the tools that we need. And if he's the one holding your hand and walking you towards that and telling you to not fear, that he's with you, that he's present in any moment, that he can jump in, then he knows that you are capable, more than capable, of surpassing whatever it is that you're about to go through. And I just want to give you that encouragement. I know that as human beings, because we don't know what's going to happen, we do fear. It is scary. It's a scary thing to make certain decisions, to do certain things. It's scary. We don't know. And sometimes what we're facing is simpler and sometimes it's more difficult, but God is always by our side and he's holding your hand today and telling you, don't fear. He's walking with you, holding your hand right there with you, ready to jump in and to help you if you need anything or if you're about to fall. And just know that if he's the one that's carrying you to that place and holding your hand while he's walking you to that place, he has already given you the tools and making you more than capable of having the victory that you need, of seeing this thing through. Because if he's the one that is allowing that, and if he's the one that is walking you through to that valley or to that mountain or whatever it is that you're going to go through, he's going to be there by your side, and he's not going to leave you, and he's not going to leave you, making sure the whole time that you can get to the other side and can get the victory that you need. And sometimes the only way for us to get to a higher place in our life or to heal or to be able to witness his love and witness the amazing things that he has for us is if we go through that valley, is if we go through that mountain that seems scary and it seems unfair and it doesn't make sense, but it is the very thing that we need to bring that healing, to bring that victory. But he's walking with you, and he's telling you right now, while he's holding your right hand, he's saying unto you, fear not. That's the message that I have for you today that I get from the same verse. May God bless you, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.